Welcome back to the FanSpeak Network. I apologize for the delay. I was on hold from Xfinity customer service. Absolutely joke of a company. I would not recommend using them. But now that that's out of the way, guys, let's dive into Overreact to what we saw yesterday. This is the FanSpeak Network, brought to you by fanspeak.com. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Like the video. All right, we got that out of the way. Tyler, I will start with you. What did you think about the NFL yesterday for week 8?
Yeah, very entertaining week. We had some entertaining finishes. My bets didn't go as well. We'll talk about those as we go through the games, but entertaining games, and I think we're going to make some money tonight, so we'll get it all back on the Steelers.
I mean, and nothing's entertaining if you're a Raiders fan, but JC Zargo, how did your Sunday go?
Good, man. There's no complaints here. Solid weekend overall, and excited for what's ahead.
All right. Well, let's dive in and let's talk about these teams. And JC, you seem like you're in a good mood, so let's bring you down by talking about the Cardinals, who defeated the Miami Dolphins. And I've talked about it on these shows before, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but I think that Mike McDaniels is an offensive coordinator, masquerading as a head coach. And yesterday, I think, continued to add ammunition to that line of thinking here as they fall short to the Cardinals. I don't necessarily think the Cardinals are that good of a team. And for them to not get that win at home and knock themselves out of playoff contention has to be disappointing as a Dolphins fan. But, JC, let's be honest. I root for the Las Vegas Raiders and the Sacramento Kings. It has turned me into the biggest hater on the face of the earth. So talk to me with your more balanced, nuanced perspective about what you saw from the Miami Dolphins yesterday. And hey, maybe am I just underrating the Cardinals? Should I be upgrading the Cardinals, or are the Dolphins just that bad?
No. I mean, it's I expected this, right? I mean, you and I talked on Thursday. I told you take Arizona with the points. I also like the under. That one didn't go as well for me. But I mean, I liked what I saw. I didn't expect, based on what we saw in week 1 and 2 with Tua, like this clearly is not the 2023 Dolphins. They're not going to be boat racing teams like they did last year. I think the potential is still there. I think they just got to find it. My concern at this point is in the standings wise, is the season too far gone for them? I was really impressed with what I saw out of Tua. Expected him to take a game or two to find his rhythm, but he looked even better than I expected him. I just had very low expectations. But I mean, A-Chain looked great. Tua was making those passes that their receivers just weren't getting from Huntley. So overall, it's a crappy place to be for the Miami Dolphins, but I don't think it's anything to overreact to. And I haven't even looked at next week. Actually, no, they just got off their bye.
So we're not overreacting. 2-5 is just cool.
I mean, they've been without their starting quarterback, right? Like, they won week 1 with him. He gets injured week 2, and we've just been without him. And when you miss that many weeks with a concussion like his, I'm not expecting you to come back lighting the world on fire. But, yes, that is a concern, though, as far as is 2-5 too far gone for this team to be able to make a playoff run.
Do you want Mike McDaniels to be your head coach at the beginning of next season?
100%. You would be a damn fool to say anything else.
Why? How? What's so good about him? He doesn't beat winning teams. All he does is
I gotta jump in here. This was an under 500 team, and they can't beat them. Like this was their bread and butter. This team has no defense, and they couldn't beat this defense up. Like this was their bread and butter spot to drop 40 and look like the old Dolphins. Their defense is shot. They have a skeleton crew on defense. This team's shot.
I mean, okay. First off, I mean, I was very thrown that the Cardinals were able to put up that many points because Dolphins allowed the fewest receiving yards to opponents than any other team in the league. But again, they're 2-5, and Tua's only played 2 of those games from start to finish. So I mean, you're not gonna. Okay, well, first off, I love Mike McDaniel. You're not gonna fire a guy because he had a crappy record while his starting quarterback was out. That's just absurd. Now the real problem is that next week they got to go to Buffalo.
Another loss.
Probably. So then you're 2-6, and I don't know. you're pretty much going to have to run the table from that point on. So, crap situation to be in. But again, no team should be upset about where they are after the quarterback goes out for 5 weeks.
So how many years does he have a losing record before we get rid of him? I just don't see what everybody sees in this coach besides the play calls. He's a glorified offensive coordinator masquerading as a head coach.
First off, most head coaches in the league are that. We keep seeing guys get fired from head coaching jobs because they get that promotion they should. He's brought Miami to the playoffs, and he's putting together winning seasons for a franchise that hasn't seen winning seasons since the 90s on a consistent basis. I think since Dan Marino left, prior to Mick McDaniel, we went to playoffs twice, and once was with a Wildcat offense.
What do you think,
I don't
Tyler?
know. Maybe this is loser talk, and maybe the bar is this low. But again, you're crazy for a guy that first 2 years a head coach brings us to the playoffs both those years to be even considering firing the dude. And this is crazy.
Okay, I guess that's a good point. What do you think, Tyler?
I don't think you should fire him necessarily. Like with the way that offense looked a year ago, it's like there's always going to be that thought that can come back. But the whole 2-5 with the quarterback thing, like Green Bay's had the same situation. They win games. Like
Green Bay.
Yeah, like Jordan Love goes down. They still win games with Malik Willis under center. Like, I get it, Miami's drop off so bad, but like Mike McDaniel should be able to scheme up plays for these guys and get them into spots. And he just wasn't able to do that.
With Skylar Thompson and Huntley.
Matt LaFleur did it with Malik Willis.
Okay, if you want to say
those three guys are the same person.
I'm not gonna go out and say Malik Willis is better. He looked better, and if that's your point, then obviously I guess I'd have to agree with you.
Like, but I agree with you on the part that I would not fire McDaniel.
All right. If I was a Bills fan, I'd be happy to hear that. Arizona Cardinals, Tyler, what do we do with them? Are they better than we thought, or is Miami just terrible?
I think Miami's defense is just not falling apart. It's just lost too many pieces over the offseason. We didn't really pay attention to it once Tua went down because we thought they were the worst team in the league. We kind of just overlooked it coming back into this game, thinking Miami was just going to be able to boat race them, and their defense just let up a lot of points. Like, the Cardinals' offense isn't this powerhouse offense. They've only crossed 24 twice this year.
I was going to say, I do think the Cardinals are a frisky team. Like, I haven't really bet on them this season because they are capable of having a breakout performance. They're not a good team, but they're just that team, that wild card that can come out and look like a dominant offense.
All right. Anything more on the Cardinals and the Dolphins? Because, like Clyde said, I'm taking this overreacting video to the max. I'm ready to fire everybody that lost yesterday.
No, but we gotta go back to the Thursday night game spread. We skipped that one. We got to talk about Vikings. We lost a key offensive lineman.
They're
big
toast.
Loss. Yeah. Okay, so I just want to make sure we're on the same page with the Darisaw loss.
I'm sorry, I completely forgot about that. I knew we lost the bet the second he went down, and I think this little storybook season's over.
Yeah, like now it's time. Like, I was trying to do it before. It is time now to fade this team. Darnold under pressure is just not what you want, and he's going to get pressured now. The Rams aren't the best defense, and they got pressure in there, so I'm going to be full fading this Vikings team now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll look at the spread for next week, but I mean, that was not a 10-point game. They had a chance to make a game-winning drive, and an egregious face mask went uncalled.
Oh, the one in the end zone?
Yes.
So, yeah, I agree. They should have called that, but are we sure Darnold goes down the field and scores?
Probably not, but he at least gets that opportunity. Another thing I will say, while I have not been hot on this Minnesota team by any means, dude, penalties killed them. Like, they got in their own way, especially the defense. Like, they had a lot of 3-and-out opportunities, and stupid stuff kept LA in that game. So I'm not ready to go full fade on Minnesota. Looking at next week,
if that's Flacco under center, I want the Colts.
At -5.
Yeah, but that line's gonna move if it is. It's +6 right now. We should probably just bet it right now, huh?
I need to make sure Flacco's under center. After watching AR this week, I don't want a dollar near that man.
But the thing is, you lose the value because when Flacco gets announced, this moves to like -2.
I don't know if it drops that far spread.
I agree.
Bro, I think he's worth 6 points.
No. They're not.
Bro, Anthony Richardson's in that Skylar. Who are we talking about? Skylar Thompson, Tim Boyle, and Malik Willis? What's the
They're not going
freaking
to drop the
difference?
spread that far.
Bro, Trey
Right.
Lance 2.0. He's got to be worth 6 points. It's an NFL quarterback versus a running back.
I agree.
I mean,
but
from a handicapping perspective, I agree, but Vegas just isn't going to move the line.
Vegas
like
won't do it. In their last game, they kept that Houston game close. Mind you, he didn't do much of the effort there,
Right.
but the score says that he was the quarterback of the team that almost stole that win.
And losing 2 in a row, I think the market's naturally kind of going to go against Minnesota, so I'm sure the plus 5.5 is already taking money. I mean, clearly, because you said 6 and I got 5.5, so it's already moved half a point. It opened at 6.5. It's already down to 7 in some places. So it's already down a point and a half. So clearly people are interested in the Colts.
I'm down to take the Colts right now. I don't think they can restart Richardson.
I mean, man, these NFL coaches do a lot of things we don't understand, though. So I'm not also going to be shocked if we see him under center on Sunday.
All right. Okay. I don't have much more to say about the Vikings. I think their season's over. Who
Do we think are the Rams going to make a comeback like they did last season?
They're a fairly good team and a division with a lot of flaws.
I mean, their schedule is crazy easy. At Seattle, home against Miami, at New England, home against Philly, at New Orleans. Oh, then it gets tough. Buffalo, San Francisco, at the Jets, Arizona, Seattle. I mean, that's something you can win. I mean, Buffalo, San Francisco, all those others should be easy wins.
Yeah, I mean, CJC, see what happens. See what a real coach can do for your team.
Tyler, do you think the Rams run the table like they did last year?
They're not going to run the table. I don't think they can beat Philadelphia, but yeah, they're going to win. They're going to win a lot of games.
I don't trust them.
All right. So JC and I want to upgrade the Rams. Tyler says leave them where they are at. Anything more on that game? I'm sorry. Thursday's so far away. I don't even think about it.
The only reason why I say leave the Rams where they're at spread is they're going to have weeks where they look like they could be a top 3 team in the NFC. Mm-hmm. And then they're going to have weeks where they look like they should be a bottom 3 team in the NFC. I don't want to upgrade that team at all. I want to leave them right in the middle.
I don't think they will, though, because they have one of the best quarterback.
They've already had the games like that this year. They let the Cardinals drop 40 on them.
Yeah.
They're going to have bad games. Their defense isn't built to just stop games.
I mean, they're playing close games, though.
But every team's going to have bad games, right? I mean, like, is Cincinnati that bad? And we'll get into that game soon. But, I mean, they looked like shit yesterday. But it's not like I'm crossing them off the list.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I agree, but I'm not upgrading the Rams.
They've managed to play close games, so with that easy of a schedule, I bet they can go 8-2.
The Rams?
Yeah.
Wow, that's aggressive. Okay, well, that's why we do this show. We got JC at the bottom. He wants to upgrade the Rams. Tyler says leave them where they be. I'm leaning towards upgrading the Rams.
When exactly is the trade deadline? Does anyone know the exact
date?
Because I still wouldn't put it past like they just fire sell some of these guys.
The Rams?
Yes.
No, I think after that win this week, they don't sell.
I mean, yeah, that was a huge thing. Is that they
from what I saw, and who knows with these reports because these guys have to put out content every day. But the NFL Network show this morning said that Kupp is no longer on the block. I mean, it could be a smoke screen.
Deadline's November 5th. So if they go to Seattle, take care of it. If they win handedly against Seattle, they're suddenly buyers.
And we're going to talk about that team that, yeah. All right, but let's talk about the Falcons and the Buccaneers here. Great win for the Falcons. They improved to 5-3. That was a big win. I had takes on 2 old quarterbacks on the Aaron Rodgers take. Go ahead and let me victory lap all day, but I'll take my L on the Kirk Cousins take. He looked pretty good. 4 touchdowns yesterday, Tyler. What'd you see when the Falcons defeated the Buccaneers?
Bro, please tell me you guys seen his pregame speech in the tunnel.
I did not.
He was like, we fight, no cap. We walk in your trap, take over your trap. And all the guys have to repeat him as he's saying it. And it's just hilarious watching all the guys just look at him and just say it. They were calling him Perk Thuggins on the video. So That's his new name. He looked good in that game. He cashed our bet for us. We had him 2.5. I mean, he threw 4 touchdowns. He lit that defense up.
Mm-hmm.
Bijan looked good on the ground. Darnell Mooney got involved through the passing game. They're a good team, but I don't think they're a Super Bowl contender. Could they win a playoff game?
No, they're not Super Bowl contender at all, but we're talking about betting them the rest of the way forward.
Mm-hmm.
And I was kind of down on the Falcons, and I have to take my L here. When we're talking about betting up until week 18, the rest of the regular season, you really got to take this team seriously. And you know, they're not the fade that I thought they would be.
If the opposing quarterback plays well when there's no pressure, which is a lot of these quarterbacks, but for instance, they played Dallas this week. If they can't get pressure on Dak, they're probably going to get diced up on that defensive side. I would probably bet Dallas this week coming up against Atlanta. You need to get them against bad quarterbacks or teams in bad spots, like Tampa Bay this week, losing all their weapons. The only thing they had out there was Cade Otton. They tried to keep up, but they couldn't. So when they play teams with good quarterbacks and they can't get pressure on them, those are the games they're going to lose. Dak probably shreds his defense this week.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Bro, watching all these tight ends yesterday made me sick to my stomach all summer in best ball.
Mental note
running backs
for both of you and for everyone watching the show. Mm-hmm. Next year, when they start talking about National Tight End Day, go into your sports book, go click every starting tight end, and just round robin them to score a touchdown. 16 of them scored yesterday.
It's just weird.
Like I looked at it and I was like, "There's no way they're gonna let all these tight ends score. Like this is just like a money grab. Everyone's gonna bet the tight ends, and none of them are gonna score." And then they all scored.
Yeah, and Cade Otton had
somebody had a $10 parlay on all the tight ends to score. It was $185,000.
That's wild. No, I mean these AFC South teams though, it's just crazy. It's the new NFC East. For a stupid reason, I bet Atlanta, and luckily it worked out for me. But I just never know what to make of it, especially when these teams clash against each other. I don't really upgrade either team, but simply knowing how high the public will be on the Falcons after that win and what we saw out of Dallas last night, I'm fine taking the Cowboys against Atlanta next week.
All right. Yeah. I'm not high on Dallas at all. We'll talk about them here in a bit. Thoughts on Tampa Bay? I mean,
can't do anything with them until a wide receiver comes back and Mike Evans.
Keep betting the over in Cade Otton.
Yeah. Agree with that Cade Otton statement.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Falcons, Buccaneers, we took care of that game. JC. We did a nice little show together on Thursday. And I said, it was tough. I didn't want to do it. But I had to take the Cleveland Browns. Mm-hmm. And it was a stupid narrative-based handicap. And there was no math. Mm-hmm. There was no analytics. There was no yards per play, expected points per attempt. It was simply they were running a bum-out in quarterback. Nobody on the team believed in him. And now they're going to get a guy that, hey, you know what? This guy doesn't make more than the whole offensive line combined. He doesn't consistently get brought up in lawsuits. And, you know, I read that Amari Cooper's sister or was a cousin was one of the girls. So think about how that locker room must have been. I don't even know if that's true. That's something I read. So who knows? But long story short, the Cleveland Browns improved to 2-6. They beat the Baltimore Ravens. And if you're a Browns fan, you have to be sick that you didn't just do this from day one. I retweeted something that Deshaun Watson in 19 starts has not had a 300-yard game. And between Flacco and Winston, they've had 300 yards passing 6 of the 7 times that Watson sat on the bench. Deshaun Watson's an absolute joke. The franchise needs to do what for their fans who I'll talk crap about the Cleveland organization all day. Great fan base. They owe it to their fans. The guy never should see the field ever again. Ever. Unless it's in Canada. He can go play with The Rock in the UFL, XFL, whatever it's called, right? Maybe he can go take a bump on WWE if we're doing the XFL. But Deshaun Watson does not belong on a football field. He hasn't earned it, and he's a disgrace to the league. What do we do with the Browns going forward? I think that they're back. I think we got to upgrade them with Jameis under center. It seemed to even make the defense look better.
Dude, it's so wild. Like, and this is probably one of my favorite things about handicapping. It's every now and again, a game just comes along, and you You can just kind of feel it. You just know that number doesn't look right. It's not, like you said, it's not a stat. You kind of just know. And I was at the casino yesterday. I'm watching the games, and everybody has Baltimore tickets. And, I got my Cleveland +8, and it was joyous. I'm mad we didn't pull the trigger on the money line. I knew they were live to possibly win outright, but, I'll take the win where I can get it. And I don't think Cleveland fans are sick now. I think they've been sick. I think they've known Jameis was a better option than Deshaun. I think the fans have been yelling for them to do something, because you can't just play the guy who's making the most money when the guy who's making the most money is playing so horrible. That division is not shaking out how we thought it was. So I think Cleveland's still alive. It'll be interesting. I mean, like I said, those division games too is always a little element to it.
That was helpful in the handicap too, right? I don't know if we would have been excited going against the Detroit Lions or Cowboys, but
exactly. But I don't know. I'm interested to see what they do next week, and kind of see if this is something they can sustain. Hosting the Chargers, they're live.
Go ahead.
Man, they're only a 2.5-point dog at home against the Chargers.
Chargers looked good yesterday. Maybe that goes to 3.5 when we can jump in. Tyler, I'm ready to upgrade the Browns. Are you going to tell me to pump the brakes?
Yeah, I'll upgrade them slightly, but they're not getting like a massive jump. This is literally just a new quarterback bump. This is Carolina when Andy Dalton stepped in and beat the Raiders. We wanted to upgrade them. Look what that team did after that. We're back to Bryce Young, and they stink.
Good point.
Don't get me wrong. Winston's better than Watson. Watson sucks. I'm convinced that the whole story of Watson only being able to play in a Clemson system and Bill O'Brien babied him in Houston and made that system the Clemson system was true, because once he got out of that, the dude looks like he doesn't even know what football is anymore. So I think Winston's a better player, but let's be honest here. They shouldn't have won the game. He drilled Kyle Hamilton in the chest with a ball on that last drive. And Kyle Hamilton was so surprised that the ball hit him in the chest, he dropped it. In the next play, they throw a touchdown pass. Like, that is the story of Winston's career. He's either going to turn the ball over or he's putting 6 on the board. Like, he's going to win games. I like him as a bigger dog, like we got last week at 9.5. But I don't know if I just go and upgrade this team right off the bat. I think their defense hasn't looked all that impressive this year. Was that because of Watson and they weren't playing, or did they take a step back? I think you'll see that over the next couple weeks. I don't trust their offensive weapons. Are we trusting Cedric Tillman and Jerry Jeudy? Like, Njoku's good. Nick Chubb's gone one leg. He looks decent, but I got to see it a couple more weeks. Slight upgrade, but nothing crazy.
All right. Tyler's, I'm over here. I'm living up to the show name. I am overreacting to everything we saw yesterday. Tyler, you think that you're the old man here. You're the voice of reason here. You're tempering expectations, and you're not allowing me to just completely change my views on every single team based off 1 week. So fun show today, guys. Hope you're enjoying it. Remember, it's brought to you by fanspeak.com. Subscribe to the channel. Give us the thumbs up as we talk about the Green Bay Packers, who got the win but did not get the cover against Jacksonville. Jacksonville with the late score to kind of backdoor that thing. I didn't necessarily ever feel like they were going to win. You look at the stats, Trevor Lawrence had a much better statistical day, but I didn't think he was necessarily the better quarterback here. The Tank Bigsby train continues, one of the few glimmers of hope for my zero RB strategy. And Brian Thomas, 3 receptions, 60 yards, a touchdown. Message you guys this morning. He's supposed to be out till week 12. Now maybe he's going to be back out for week 9, something we're going to have to monitor here. Tyler, all right. I guess the last little breakdown kind of, we're not changing either team, right? I mean, the Packers are who we thought they were. Jaguars are terrible. I mean, what else do we do with this one?
You just wait and see the Jordan Love injury and see how long he's going to be out with the groin injury.
He's out too?
Yeah.
I thought he'd be back by next week.
They said they don't know yet.
Fair enough. JC, what did you see in that game?
I zoned out. I'm sorry. I was doing something. Which game are we talking about?
Who are you texting, bro? You're going to get in trouble with your wife. Bro, when those girls DM you, you do not answer them. You're going to get in trouble. I don't care if they look really good in the pictures. You're gonna get yourself in trouble, bro.
I swear I was looking at next week's lines. I'm getting way too ahead of myself. I know it's tomorrow's show, and we've already covered several games from next week.
All right. Well, we're looking for, if you're checking the lines for next week, check the Green Bay Packers and check the Jacksonville Jaguars, because that's the game we're discussing.
Man, it's crazy. I'm gonna be honest. I barely watched this game at all.
That's okay, because I don't really think that we take away much from this game. It started at 4.5. The market moved it all the way to 3 on Sunday morning, and it landed on the 3.
Right. I mean, definitely
seems like the market got the game right. Go ahead.
It's definitely impressive for Jacksonville to put up 27 on Green Bay. But there were so.
But like I said, that last touchdown was like the prevent touch. It gets the prevent, right?
Okay. Pass.
Okay. Well, let's continue overreacting, because I've already talked crap about one quarterback, but Deshaun Watson. I want to talk crap about another. Tyler, how long does failed experiment last?
The rest of the year.
At some point, Tyler, you're in a bad relationship. You're fighting every night. You guys aren't sleeping together anymore. One of you sleeping on the couch. She's sleeping in the guest bedroom. It's time to realize the relationship's over. And that's what I think the Indianapolis Colts need to do, because this was a great idea. And from what I've heard, the guy is just an amazing human being. He's a guy you want in your locker room. Maybe he'll be a great strength coach one day. But he's simply not as an NFL quarterback, and you're squandering another opportunity to make the playoffs by running him out here. Anthony Richardson, I can say it right now, I think he's the reason they lost. I think he's the reason they lost the game. And they could have beat the Houston Texans, who now improved to 6-2. And there, you would think they lost, reading the comments on Texans Twitter and Texans Reddit today, because they know they should have beat that team by more. What are your thoughts? I'd like to see Flacco out there. Let's end this experiment now. But what do you think the Colts will do, and how do we judge this team moving forward?
Yeah, when you started this breakdown square, I thought it was going to be a completely different game when you were going to trash the quarterback. So we are on the Colts game first. You'll be trashing that other quarterback probably next. But I think
that's the one next. You're right.
I think they should go to Flacco. I mean, AR was always going to be a project, and I think they rushed him too soon. He should be sitting behind Flacco, learning how an NFL quarterback throws a ball. Learn all that, and then play next year. They're just trying to get him out there. He's a freak athlete. He can run the ball well, but that's all he can really do. Like, he has no touch on his passes. He's throwing 70-yard bombs, and that's the only thing he's got. So you got to get him worked in on a normal system, or build a system around him, and they haven't done that yet. So I think it's Flacco time if you want any chance at the playoffs.
JC, your thoughts on the Texans and the Colts? It's crazy how down the Texans were, their fans are on this team for basically not covering the spread.
Yeah, I mean, you and I, we talked about this earlier in the season, and it's part of the reason I went ahead and just bet on the Colts on Sunday. They just seem to struggle with division rivals, and it's one of those things that, like, I mean, yes, they're division opponents, but they're so vastly superior. It's so weird that they can't cover the spread against these terrible teams. And they're winning the games, and at the end of the day, that's really all coaches care about. But it's just strange. And so I don't know if it is a reflection of the level of talent this team actually has, or if it's just a division rival problem. And when the playoffs come around, they won't have to play any of them, and they should be, sailing through the playoffs. So it's weird, and I don't know what to make of it.
Yeah, and we always know this about division games. That's why we view those a little differently, right? A plus 3.5 in a division game is a lot more valuable than a plus 3.5 in a non-conference game. But and we'll see what happens. But my guess is Steichen wants to keep his job. He's got to keep the locker room. I mean, the NFL's a meritocracy. This isn't the NBA where we paid you $20 million, so you're going to get out there even when you suck. He's going to lose the locker room if he doesn't make that switch, and I hope that he does. But speaking of quarterbacks who have destroyed –
hang on real quick, though.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think we're going to know in the next couple of weeks if Houston's legit or not, because it is concerning that their losses have come against the only two good teams they played in Green Bay and Minnesota. So with the Jets, Lions, and Dallas, their next three, I think by the end of that stretch, we'll know whether
there's only one good team you mentioned there.
But if they lose to Dallas, we'll know for sure they're not legit.
Fair enough. Agreed.
Like they're a good enough team that it's not like, I have a feeling that game is going to be competitive. And if they can't beat them, then that's when we're like, okay, clearly this is similar juju to y'all like to put on the Miami Dolphins.
I don't think it's that bad. I
mean, like last year. Or the
their coach is at least an NFL coach, not a glorified offensive coordinator.
You would rather have D'Amico Ryans than Mike McDaniel?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I agree with
Bro,
that.
there's more to coaching than drawing up cool plays.
Yeah, there's awesome interviews too.
Fair enough. You might have me there. Well played, JC. The New York Jets are now in a tie for last place with the New England Patriots, bro. They have the same record as the Raiders. The only difference is they had expectations. The New York Jets win total was set at 9.5. The Raiders win total was set 6.5. Yet they're sitting here with the same record. Can you imagine me, Devontae Adams, and one getting traded from 1, 2, and 6 team to another? I think the guy would have wanted to go to a contender, but no, he wanted to play with his friends. So,
hey, if you can make millions of dollars.
I mean, let's be honest. His other choice of teams when he put the list out was the 2 and 6 team in the NFC, the Saints. He legit just wanted to play with one of his old quarterbacks.
And I guess, you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. Friendship is important, especially nowadays. Male loneliness has become an epidemic. I'm glad that Devontae has some friends. But let's talk about a man who I would not want to be friends with, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Because he single-handedly runs the best coach on their whole staff out the room. He wanted to blame Saleh for the problems. He was the best coach. What's his name? His name's Brian Ulbrich. Jeff Ulbrich, right? He's probably a pretty good defensive coordinator. But Saleh was a better defensive coordinator, so your defense got way worse. And now you put your career – I mean, I cannot think of two worse offensive coordinators than Todd Downing and Nathaniel Hackett. Is Adam Gase still in the league?
I can name one.
He's the only one I can think is worse.
I can name one.
Who?
Matt Canada.
But he doesn't have a job, does he?
No, because we fired him, and everyone seen what he did to Pittsburgh last year, and they said, we don't want anything to do with that.
How do these two guys keep getting jobs? They've been terrible at every single spot they've been in. So you have this terrible coaching staff. You get rid of the worst coach because of your 40-year-old quarterback who can't run, who moves hella slow. How many delay games did they have? Bro, pick up the pace.
Yeah.
Everything about this team is terrible, and Rodgers wants to blame everybody but himself. Bro, it's going to be like plus 2,000 for him to actually take accountability for this team's losses. Everybody's fault but himself. Unbelievable here that people continue to back the Jets. And I'll tell you what, I've already bet the Texans for Thursday night.
Oh yeah, I agree there.
I could not believe it, bro. On Bookmaker, that they were the underdog.
You want to hear something funny?
Yeah,
they do the playoff probabilities by percentages once these teams get dropped into the standings. Mm-hmm. The Raiders at 2 and 6 have a 2% chance to make the playoffs. Mm-hmm. The Jags at 2 and 6 have a 4% chance to make the playoffs. The Patriots have a 3% chance. The Titans at 1 and 6 have a 2% chance. The Jets at 2 and 6 have a 20% chance to make the playoffs, it says.
That's an absolute joke. So go ahead. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is pulling a Russell Westbrook and just ruining his legacy in my mind right now. I mean, to be fair, we kind of forget the Favre Jet years and we consider him a Hall of Famer. Not a very good human being, but he's a great football player. JC, what were your thoughts on the Jets? And are you willing to echo my sentiments here that this is just an absolute disaster played out on the national stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's the Jets. I've been saying it all season. I said it all off season. It's just the Jets are the Jets are the Jets. And it's comedy. It's comedy to watch. I mean, as a Dolphins fan that has just been humiliated in the AFC East for so long, it's just comedy to watch this team that was, probably most of the time just a little bit better than us become the laughing stock of the league. I love it. I can't get enough of it. I had a feeling I couldn't pull the trigger on it. I had a feeling it was going to be a close game. I didn't think they were going to trounce them like they did on that Thursday night game. But I knew New England would keep it close. But winning outright, oh my gosh, that is kind of been the one redeeming factor. While the Dolphins sit at 2-5, it's just so funny to watch the demise of the New York Jets.
Tyler, do we want to pile on anymore, or do you think we've adequately buried the Jets enough for next week?
Yeah, the Jets are buried. They're done. Like, I don't think there's much more we got to add on to them. The only thing I'll be betting with the Jets going forward is Garrett Wilson's receiving yards. Devontae Adams is going to draw number one cornerback coverage, and Garrett Wilson's going to torch his second corner. He torched him last week. He had 100-plus yards. His prop was set in the 50s. The dude's going to be wide open running routes. He's still going to get his yards.
Fair enough. All right, and we'll see what D'Amico Ryans, excellent head coach, JC. D'Amico Ryans, my type of coach. All right, let's talk about one of my worst calls of the season, Tyler. That's right. I come on here and act all high and mighty, but you guys in the chat can remind me that I did take the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Philadelphia Eagles, and that pick looked okay in the first quarter. I think we were up 7-3, and from then on out, it was nothing but pain. And this is another case, right? I just lambasted the Jets for being a terrible organization, terrible ownership, no continuity between the ownership, the front office, and the head coach. So why did I believe in the Cincinnati Bengals? The cheapest organization in the league. I feel so bad for Joe Burrow. Get him out of there ASAP. I hope he holds out. I hope he demands a trade. And nobody should fault him for it if he does. But I want to see him out of Cincinnati. This team, it's bad, and I feel stupid for trusting him. The other thing is I'll take another L. On the strength of my handicap, I said, well, Joe Burrow's better than Jalen Hurts. And he is slightly better. But I completely underrated Jalen Hurts. It was a great performance from him yesterday. This is a balanced team. They've got a great offense. They got a great rushing attack. And as long as that defensive line is getting pressure, all the inabilities of the secondary can be masked because they continue to get pressure simply rushing four. Tyler's, I took my L here. Did you want to add anything to my terrible Bengals pick?
No, I mean, T. Higgins pulling his quad in Friday's practice was not ideal. They lose their second best receiver, who's been a big part of their offense. I feel like if he was there, they could have kept the game a little bit closer. Jalen Hurts running 3 touchdowns in wasn't expected. He finally had his big game of the year. Saquon cleared 100 yards. Expected more of a shootout, in Cincinnati missing their second best weapon, just wasn't able to keep up. So that's where we lost.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it was a bad pick. Even if T. Higgins plays, what is it, 37-24? I mean, I don't know. I just think it's a bad organization. All their best players in the last 5 years are on different teams, except for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. All their good defenders are gone because they're too cheap.
T. Higgins has been longer. He's been there longer than both of them.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I don't like T. Higgins as much as everyone else does, which sucks. I wish I would have known that during the summer when I kept drafting him. JC, what did you see?
T. Higgins is just good because you got Joe Burrow thrown to him. Yeah, man, I got to stop betting on the Cincinnati team. I've been low on them for most of the season, and I was right there with you on that pick. It was more, too, about I just felt like both teams were underperforming, and in that kind of a matchup, I thought the Bengals were a smart play. Just hate these Bengals. I just they're like
JC. Unfortunately, we say that, but the Bengals play the Raiders next week, so we might be right back in this bucket.
Yep, I almost said it. Luckily, because it's what, like 8.5 points.
I see 7.5 offshore right now.
I'm not laying more than a touchdown. That line gets down to like 6. I'm gonna be enticed.
I don't think it will. Who's gonna bet on Las Vegas?
Yeah, I'm gonna. Yeah. I haven't looked at the full slate. Right now, I'm just saying I'm not betting on Cincinnati anymore. But like, if it kind of, I don't like too many games, and then suddenly I'm looking at that number and seeing how all these other teams have trounced the Raiders. Yes, I realize there's a very good chance of that. But for now, I'm saying no more betting on Cincinnati games. I need to be through with it. I'm tired of losing money on them. And you know what? I think Joe Burrow would look great in aqua and orange.
I think Joe Burrow would look great in silver and black. Best uniforms in sports. Get with the times, guys. The Detroit Lions.
I can't picture that. He wouldn't. No, he can't.
Oh, he would look
light
great.
Colors.
Fantastic. Beautiful.
No.
Wonderful. All right.
White hair, it wouldn't work.
Yeah, we got to get it. We got to get him back looking like me, bro. Like that blonde shit ain't gonna fly. The Detroit Lions. That game wasn't close. Do we even talk about it? Whoop-de-doo. You beat the Titans. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, I'm
Anything else?
rolling. No.
Anything for you, Tyler? Can we just move it on?
Now we're moving on.
Yeah, great job, Detroit. All right. One game that we got wrong, Tyler. We like the Seahawks, man. And you know what? I think this might be the game that ended Geno Smith's time as a starter. You got to really think that at this point, if I'm a Seattle fan, I'm just like, we need a new quarterback. They got a lot of good things going in that franchise. And the difference was under center. Now, to be fair, Josh Allen is, to me, the second best quarterback in the NFL. However, Geno's got to keep it closer because the rest of the teams, to me, aren't that much far apart. The difference to me was under center. And the Seahawks hopefully will be moving on from Geno this offseason. What did you see in that one, Tyler?
I don't think they move on from Geno. Like,
oh, please do.
He was missing DK Metcalf. Like, he's missing their best weapon in this game. What do you mean so? Half the quarterbacks in the league with their wide receiver one wouldn't look good. If Jamar Chase tore his ACL, you'd be wanting to trade Joe Burrow after 2 weeks, spread. I get it's an overreaction.
Trade him to Las Vegas.
Yeah, but relax. Like, they're not going to bench the quarterback just because he lost a game to what could possibly
No, I'm saying you draft a new one in the offseason.
I mean, there's a chance of that, but they're not just going to go away from him. Like, he's looked decent. He's 4-4. They've lost games to really good teams. They lost to Detroit when their defense was beat up. They lost to Buffalo, who's probably the second best team in the AFC. Like, they lose against good teams.
Fair enough.
They're not just going to bench Geno because he lost a couple games.
Tyler, once again, being the voice of reason. JC, what did you think about this game?
This was crazy. I don't know how I missed this one. I just completely overlooked this game. I can't believe Buffalo was only a 3-point favorite. I never even looked at this game. I don't know how it just slid by me. That was a betting opportunity of a lifetime. I'm really upset I missed out on that one. Basically went exactly as expected, especially because DK's a great receiver, but I just don't view him as a game changer. Like, he's just not that. Like,
I mean, JSN and Tyler Lockett should be enough.
For sure. Yeah, like, it's just he's not like a Tyreek Hill. He's not in that echelon of Justin Jefferson and Jamar
I mean, to
Chase.
be fair, Tyreek is probably a top three. It's to me, it's like Tyreek, Chase, and Jefferson, top 3 receivers. I don't know. Maybe I'm leaving someone out. I don't know. Nico Collins might be trying to get in that
maybe Amari
stratosphere.
Cooper.
Maybe Cooper Kupp. Not Amari Cooper.
He's looked good in Buffalo.
Fair enough.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, it's Buffalo rolls and Seattle. They're just, again, I put them in a little more frisky than Arizona, but I've had low expectations for them all seasons. The way that division is playing out, there was a chance they sneak into the playoffs, but I just don't think they're a very good team, and I don't think you're going to make much of a playoff run when Geno Smith is the quarterback.
All right. I'm ready to be disappointed when I'm asking this question. Because, Tyler, I'm going to be so disappointed in your answer. But are you ready to admit that Spencer Rattler is nowhere near the player that Bo Nix is? The Saints only put up 8 points against the Chargers. Rattler throws for 156 yards. Bo Nix, 284 yards, 3 touchdowns. One team's 5-2. The other team's 2-6. Can we give Bo Nix some credit here? We're going to combine these games.
No.
Why not?
Playing a Carolina Panthers spread. No one gets credit for that.
Who cares?
Derek Arthur with 4 touchdowns against the Panthers. Think anyone's getting credit for this? I can go out and throw for what Bo Nix just did against the Panthers.
Oh, my God.
Beat a good team. He only beats on bad teams.
They're 5-3. Their win total is 5.5.
I don't care. They've won 5 bad games.
Oh, my gosh. Can you believe this, JC, that Tyler refuses to give the man credit?
I don't believe a lot of things Tyler says. But
so are you with me that Bo Nix is a quality NFL player?
I was going to say, but Tyler is right more than he's wrong. That's the thing.
You set me up for that one. That's a nice way to use the jab to set up the right hook. Great, excellent work there, JC. Unbelievable.
I don't know. I mean, I love betting on Denver. Like, it's been fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what to make of Bo Nix. I know it's an overreaction show, but I'm still reserving my thoughts on
what does he need to do? He's an excellent athlete. He makes good throws. Like, I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, but I'm saying he's a serviceable quarterback. I don't think Spencer Rattler is a starting caliber quarterback in the NFL.
He doesn't have any impressive wins. I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, he's beating up.
He's only played 8 games.
Bro beat Tampa when their entire defense was out. Bro beat the Jets by 1. He beat the Raiders, and then he beat New Orleans. Cool. You beat up Carolina. On 5. Yeah, in Carolina. You beat up all the worst teams in the league.
Right.
Clap it up. A lot of teams can't do that, though. A lot of quarterbacks can't do that.
Yeah, the ones that play for the Raiders.
Miami couldn't do that with their crappy quarterback. You act like these are easy wins.
Yeah, fine. I'll go out and say Bo Nix is better than Huntley and Skylar Thompson. Whoa!
I finally get some freaking recognition on the show. Thank you, JC. I appreciate that.
Spread picked the worst rookie quarterback to hitch his wagon to. Like,
what do you mean? This guy is.
You could have hitched your wagon,
and he's 5-3.
You could have hitched your wagon to Jaden Daniels, who's throwing Hail Mary balls.
I did pitch my wagon to Jaden Daniels. How
many wagons you got?
I told you this was going to be the best quarterback class of the last 20 years. I hitched my wagon to every single one of these guys.
But it's not. Honestly, the Baker class with Lamar in it is.
Yeah.
We'll find out. They're rookies.
Obviously,
I'll take these guys.
In this class.
What's up?
Obviously, Drake May's the worst.
What do you mean? Drake May hasn't. What has Drake May done wrong?
He hasn't done anything.
He played like 5 quarters of football.
Right, but again, if we're rating these quarterbacks, is he not the worst?
That's probably right.
I mean, Penix hasn't even played it down. But no, I mean,
just actually the worst is probably
Drake May has the potential to be a really good NFL quarterback. There's nothing I've seen on the field that makes me think that he's not going to be good.
Not the point I'm trying to get at. So whatever. My point.
What's your point? Because I'm confused.
If you wouldn't interrupt me, you'd know by now. Would you? So basically, that leaves in the middle of guys we've seen. Well, Spencer Rattler, actually. Anyways, would you rather have Bo Nix or Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams. I didn't say that Bo Nix was going to be the MVP. I said that he would be a serviceable quarterback and could lead his team to wins.
Oh, what a bold statement! Obviously, I mean, like.
You want me to give him credit for winning?
He's like he's going to be like Jared Goff. He's going to be good.
What are we talking about right now?
What's that?
Jared Goff is like the leader for MVP right now.
I know. And if you put Bo Nix in a good situation like that, he's going to give you those type of results.
I'm going to click my way off his show in here in a minute if we keep
talking about Bo Nix. Like,
this is ridiculous.
No one's saying he's bad, Fred, but we haven't seen enough for you to be standing on the table for Bo Nix.
I don't know. We need to see here. 5-3 as a rookie is pretty damn good.
Next game.
Yeah.
I'm not doing
this.
Hang
on. Look, okay, perfect. He's got Baltimore and KC his next 2 games.
This will be fun. You guys can
slaughtered those 2 games. We'll revisit this conversation.
All right, we will. You know, a quarterback that I was impressed with yesterday, and I hope you guys agree with me here. Jaden Daniels, boy, what'd you guys think of that miracle? Start with you, Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, the legend of Jaden Daniels grows even more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what about let's just start here. Look, did you see the video of the cornerback telling the crowd? And then he runs back into the play, and he's the one that tips the ball up in the air. It's like if he'd have just kept taunting the crowd, they win.
Yeah.
Like it's bad. Like I don't know how Chicago walks into their film room today and watches that and doesn't like all turn and look right at that guy and be like, "Get out."
I don't know. I don't know the Bears team well enough to know how good of a player he is, but
he's good.
Oh, yeah.
Like on PFF, he's ranked high, and it's just one of those things he's going to have to learn from. He's too good to cut. If he got cut, 31 other teams would try and pick him up.
Oh, they'd be waiting at the door for him. He wouldn't get.
No, he's a good
10
player.
feet off their perimeter before the team was like, "Let's go."
It's just a dumb mistake. I mean, they're not going to get him.
They thought they had the game in the bag. They were all hyped up because they made the comeback, and Jaden Daniels does Jaden Daniels things.
It's really funny. So I was like watching all these games, and then I just like catch the Washington game in the corner of my eye, and I look over, and I'm like, look at all this time Daniels has. Like, no wonder he's carved up defenses. And then I realized Chicago was in the prevent.
Yeah.
So it's a funny way to view that game. But yeah, absolutely crazy.
One next thing I want to give him credit for, though, JC, I'm sorry for interrupting, but I had a bunch of coffee, and then Xfinity fired me up with their shitty customer service. But the play before it, I think you got to give him credit for just hitting McLaurin and moving them into Hail Mary range. He didn't try and force that play, and that ended up being the difference in the game because now his arm was within range. I really gave him a lot of credit for the win. Obviously, a ton of luck involved.
For sure.
But you got to be excited if you're a Commanders fan.
Credit to Chicago, though, man. I mean, what is this the first team to hold Washington to less than 20?
Yeah, they got a good defense there. And they're doing a lot there. And you know what? They're doing it in spite of terrible coaching.
Yeah.
I mean, was anyone impressed with the you know what? I'll give Eberflus credit on the same way, right? Maybe Saleh deserves credit. It's a good defense, and he's a defensive-minded head coach.
Did you hear his breakdown of the last play?
No.
He said that they've practiced that play almost every day in practice. They have a certain setup that they like to run. It's almost like a basketball play where everyone lines up on the goal line and boxes out the wide receivers. If you go back and watch that play, the only one that actually boxes out and tries to get those guys behind them, and they're supposed to have a guy in front who's supposed to be the guy that bats the ball down, and there's supposed to be a guy in the back, so that can't happen. What happened at the end of that game? The only guy that boxed out was Jalen Johnson. So every other player on that defense made mistakes. Even the guy that was taunting the crowd and everyone else not named Jalen Johnson.
Yeah, fair enough. But, yeah. If Eberflus had a better offensive coordinator, I think that he could be an okay head coach. But Waldner might have been the real mistake there.
Yeah. Their offensive line is so bad.
It's so funny how, and I hate to go NBA on you, how everyone's getting mad at LeBron getting his son a job, but all these bullshit NFL coaches keep getting jobs through their connections, and nobody says shit. Like, there's no way Shane Waldron should be an offensive coordinator from what he did in Seattle. Listen to how happy all the players were that he was gone, running his fucking tech mobile style offense. All right, enough about that. But hey, to Meg and the rest of the fan speak crew, that's Commanders fans, keep commanding. Tyler, the Raiders covered. We covered.
The Chiefs. What'd you expect?
We covered.
Yeah, they do their job. They get out with a win. They let you cover. I mean, the Raiders are the Raiders. The Chiefs are the Chiefs. It's pretty much it.
JC, just indulge me here for a second. Let's pull up the Raiders schedule.
I like that he said JC didn't even bother to try and convince.
Yeah, he doesn't even bother with me because he knows I'm not having it.
Go ahead, Fred. I'm interested.
What am I going to say? Like, we all agree the Raiders suck, right?
But I feel like you're about to spin some fan theory about how they could still make the playoffs. Like, I don't know what you're about to say, but
I want to see if we can get the number one pick.
Oh.
Do you think we'll get eight? Like, looking at the schedule, where do we see a win? We play the Bengals next week in Cincinnati. Probably lose, right? 7.5-point dogs. Oh, JC, this will be fun. Do you know who we play in week 11?
Yeah, you're going to get crushed. That one, double-digit cover from Miami.
Then we're at home against Denver. I mean, I can't go against Bo Nix there, right?
Going to beat Bo Nix. That guy's
I can't be Bo Nix. Then we travel to Kansas City, another L. Then we travel to Tampa Bay. Mm-hmm. If we were at home, maybe we'd have a shot, but I can't see us beating them. Can you?
I mean, I think between Tampa, Atlanta, and Jacksonville, you'll win at least one of those.
Okay, so that's one. Now we're at 3. Then we travel to New Orleans. We could probably win that one, and then we end against the Chargers.
I'll probably get at least 4 to 5 wins. You get at least 2 wins.
Yeah. All right. So we're probably going to finish at 4. Probably not going to be the top spot though. So if you were to guess right now who has the number one pick, would you say Tennessee? I think they're in the last in the standings right now, right?
Yeah, they only have 1 win. Now Panthers.
Right now the order goes Panthers, Titans, Patriots, Jets, Jags, Saints, Raiders.
Can you believe the Jets are below us? How pissed am I going to be when the Jets take Shedeur Sanders?
Nah, dude, you're not catching the Panthers. The Panthers have the Saints, Giants, Chiefs, Bucks, Eagles, Cowboys, Cardinals, Bucks, Falcons.
Panthers might be able to beat the Giants.
Right, they might have 1, maybe 2 wins, and that's still only 3 wins. Panthers are taking the number 1 pick.
On Tankathon right now, they got Shedeur Sanders going number 1 to the Panthers and Cam Ward going 2 to the Titans. And we're at 7. Jets at number 4. Why would the Jets take a corner?
No, the funniest pick in this entire mock draft on Tankathon is number 9, Miami, Ashton.
I was just about to say that.
Why would they ever add another running back to that room?
I think that you should add a running back high, but like they don't need one.
But I don't know what the contract.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The dude's an absolute stud, but Miami doesn't need him.
Bro, do you see who Tankathon's got going number 10? What a joke. For those who aren't on Tankathon right now. Quinn Ewers.
You want a bigger joke spread?
He shouldn't even be a first-round pick.
Scroll down to 25.
Okay. Jalen Milroe going to the Steelers. Yeah, right.
Not happening.
Yeah. All right. Well, at least they got the order of these picks right. Oh, my gosh. I hope the Jets aren't above us. Okay, guys. Anything more about the Raiders and the Chiefs? Because I don't really have much to say. I'm just hoping we get a quarterback without having to give up like 3 number 1 picks.
I mean, you get one. You just might not get the one you want.
Mostert is under contract next year. A-Chain, he just signed a 4-year deal. And, of course, they got the rookie. So this is hilarious that he has them drafting another running back.
Yeah. No. And Gianti's going to be sweet. He's one of the best players I've seen in a long-ass time. But that's not a good spot for him.
If Dallas lets that man get past him in the draft, Jerry Jones need to walk out of the building.
What, with a walker?
I don't care if they throw him out the top floor window. He needs taken out. I'm not even a Dallas fan, but like if you have no running back and that running back staring you in the face on the draft board, you take him.
Yeah. Dallas has got a lot of problems. Let's talk about that game versus the 49ers. Final score was 30-24, but let's be honest, it wasn't that close. I think both teams have problems. With the Niners get their 4th win in a row against the Cowboys. I've talked about it before. When you pay average players elite money, your team is fucked. And Dak's not worth that contract. And now
when Dallas was up 10-3, I thought about getting in live. Even being up 10-3, Dallas was still even money for the outright win. And San Francisco was like minus 140 or something like that.
Yeah, I mean
they're bad. They're bad. And that's another great one. I mean, who doesn't love seeing the Cowboys be bad, especially when they were slated to be so good?
Yeah, and we'll see what happens because this team does draft pretty well. So they're going to have an opportunity this year to really bolster their team. But boy, with Dak making all that money, I think they've just condemned themselves to mediocrity. They're always going to be good because obviously Dak's still, I'm saying, like I said, he's an average player. He's probably like what 12th, 14th best quarterback in the league. Sure. The problem is you're paying him more than you pay Patrick Mahomes. You're paying him more than you pay Josh Allen, and he can't carry a bad team.
My favorite stat.
Look at the Bills, dude. Without Josh Allen, that team's 3-14.
That's one of my favorite stats. Like in the past almost like 20 years, every quarterback that's won a Super Bowl is either Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, or a guy on like a rookie contract. Like you can't have a Yeah. I mean, it might not be quite that long, and there might be like one other guy.
I was going to say, who's on a rookie contract besides Russ?
At least that level of pay. Like it's kind of like it's a Stafford. There's also exception. Anyways, my stats have been exaggeratory to the actual stat, but the point being, you can't waste payroll on a quarterback that is not a top guy.
Here's my question. How many guys are better than Dak?
Probably like 10.
I didn't think so.
You really want to do this right now? You really want to do this right now? Because I go this all the time.
You think Dak's a top 10 quarterback?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. You ready, JC?
Quarterback play in this league is terrible. You're telling me he's not a top 10 player?
I know this very well because I always have to make this defense for Tua because I believe Tua is a top 10 quarterback.
Oh, Dak's better than Tua.
All right, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow,
Matt Stafford,
Hurts,
Goff, Love, Stroud.
We're at 9. So now do you want to put Jaden in there?
Yes. Purdy's better than Dak. Freaking.
Okay, after this season, are we really going to say Purdy's better than Dak?
Yes.
Not winning games.
What do you mean they're 4-3?
That's true.
No, they're 4-4. Excuse me.
4-4. So we're at 10, and now, honestly, do you think would you rather have Tua or Dak?
I'm taking Dak every time.
I'm taking Dak.
But are you just saying that because Tua is a China doll?
Yes.
No, it's because I've only seen Tua good in one system, and it's when he's throwing to elite wide receivers. He's been dog shit outside of that.
Baker's better than Dak. As much as I hate to say it, Kirk Cousins is better than Dak.
I'd rather take Dak than Kirk Cousins.
A lot of these guys you're naming now are
but we just cleared 10 easy that we all agree are better.
He could have easily been in that 10 spot where we put Jaden at. We're putting Jaden in there because he's the new shiny new toy and he's that guy. Could he be 10?
Because he's more athletic, he has a better arm, and he has better accuracy. What does he need to do?
I don't know if he has a better arm.
What do you mean?
I mean, I agree. I
There's
think
no way Dak makes that throw.
I don't know what you watch on Sundays. Dak has got a cannon arm spread. He could 100% put that ball in the end zone.
I agree. There's like a clear 8, and then like 9 through 14 you can argue about all day with like Jaden, Jordan, Tua.
No, Jordan's way better. To me, Jaden's better.
Jordan Love's in the 8. Goff is in the group that gets argued because Goff is a system quarterback. Goff and Baker are in that argument. If you threw Dak
behind that offensive line in that run game, you're probably right there.
He only played good when Sean McVay had him in his system, and then he got the Ben Johnson system. He wasn't good outside of that.
But I think Goff's more accurate.
I think a lot of these guys have their system built for them, and they kind of play within their system. And Dak is literally out there trying to win games like Josh Allen is.
You say that like it's a bad thing, though. Like, why would you not?
It's not
there's only 3 teams. There's only 3 players that can carry bad teams. Maybe Jaden, because I don't think Washington's that good either. But
it's not a bad thing. But what I'm saying is the dude gets shit on when he's out there with the entire team.
The reason he gets shit on is because he makes $60 million. If he made 35, nobody would care.
Well, they should have paid him. That is the ownership's fault because they should have paid him earlier. But they held out, and then they had to match the contracts.
But right now, we can look at that team and say the problem with the team is the contract, because with that extra $25 million, if he was being paid what he was worth, they could get 3 extra players, maybe 4, and their depth wouldn't be so shitty.
And then Trey Lance is the quarterback, and we're shitting on him because they don't have a quarterback. So there's no winning this argument.
No, I'm saying you don't pay Dak 60. You pay him 35.
You have to match the market, which is why they paid him too late. They should have paid him before the other quarterbacks got their money.
Well, whoever pays him 60 is going to be fucked, is my point. He's not worth it.
No.
You're paying elite money for an average player.
When Jordan Love gets 60 first and the Dak turns around and goes, you see what he just got, you have to match that deal.
But Jordan Love's probably better.
I agree, but we know how the quarterback market works.
Fair enough. Let's talk about tonight's game, guys. Anything else from yesterday?
No.
We're doing pretty good. We're definitely getting some overreacting in. Tyler, I'll keep this one quick. I took the Steelers. I took the under. One reason, Andrew Thomas. You're missing one of the best left tackles. Your depth sucks at that team. We're talking about paying an average quarterback elite money. You're paying a fucking bum elite money in New York. TJ Watt's going to wreak havoc. Unless he gets hurt, I don't see how the Steelers don't crush, and I don't see how this game goes under. I would also take the Giants team total under. Give me your breakdown.
I might have the easiest bet in this game spread.
Mm-hmm.
It's minus 118. Minus 118 on FanDuel. TJ Watt to get a sack, Steelers money line. Easy to get.
Love it. Wow, I mean, this game's easy.
Wow.
Like, I'm not going to sit here and say it's as easy as people think it is. Like, this is one of those games. Like, the Steelers have yet to have that game where it's like you look at it after the game and they go, they should have really won that game.
Dallas
showed up.
Dallas is that game.
I'm not saying that because their offense sputtered the entire second half of that game and couldn't keep their defense off the field, and the defense got tired. That's why Dallas came back and won that game.
I'm just saying that the Steelers, that was their letdown game we've seen so far. So I'm a little worried tonight, right? We hate Tomlin as a favorite, but this Giants team is just so bad.
Yeah, we haven't lost a game on Monday night in 21 years. Any guess who's the last team to beat us on Monday night?
The Raiders.
Yeah.
The Giants.
Oh.
Look, man, I mean, one of my favorite things about handicapping is you got to get creative in how you bet. And I got to be honest, I think Tyler comes up with some of the most creative plays because that is crazy. You're getting that bet at minus 118.
Can I ever get any love from you on this fucking show, JC?
I'll say one thing too,
Jeez, you're like the chat, dude. The chat loves Tyler. You love Tyler. All I do is win freaking bets, and I get no credit.
Yeah, but you're not sexy with it, spread.
Do I need to flex on camera again?
Oh, Tyler, that was pretty funny. On Thursday show, someone asked like who would win in a fight between me and Spread.
No, it wasn't a fight because it was bench press. I was more confident because I never say anything about fighting.
You're right.
But it was bench press. And one of the reasons I knew it was because you're 6'4" and people with long arms, it's just hard to bench.
I'm also not like I run, like I do cardio. I don't lift like at all. And so it was just like someone's like, who could bench more between Spread and
I lift 3 times a week.
And I'm like, that's not even close.
Yeah.
It was like that AJ Brown, Aaron Donald, the DK Metcalf, Aaron Donald interview where they're like, "Can you outbench Aaron?" He's like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Aaron, what do you bench?" He's like, 500. And DK's eyes like pop out of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sure like Spread probably reps what I max.
Anyway. Sorry to interrupt. What's the play here, JC?
That's really interesting though. I didn't know about the long arms. That's interesting.
It makes it a lot harder, yeah.
For sure. I'm going to use that excuse now.
Definitely.
I can't lay 6 with Pittsburgh. I mean, what we saw from Wilson, like his receivers bailed him out in that game against the Jets. Right, that's what they played?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they just made some wild catches and they caught some breaks. That makes me uncomfortable laying 6. I haven't as juicy as that 225 is, I got no interest in New York. Right now, the only bet I got out is the Giants team total under 15. Because the way, man, this Pittsburgh's offense has just exploded. It's no longer safe to just take the under in the game. Because, I mean, Pittsburgh could easily put up 30 on the Giants. So I'm just going to go ahead and take under 15 on the New York Giants.
I like both your guys' looks. Excellent work there. I would have to agree with you. Although, to be fair, I kind of think they're correlated. My under 36.5 is probably going to hit. I don't see Pittsburgh putting up 37 again.
Okay, but if the Giants put up 12, you can't see Pittsburgh putting up 25?
Yeah, you're right. So maybe your bet's a little better there. I definitely like Tyler's bet as well.
It's going to, I don't know. Well, 15.
I think Tyler actually has the best bet of our little panel here, though.
It's probably going to be like 20 to 15, though, and your bet's going to hit and mine's not.
I hope not, because then I won't win my -6.
Not true.
No. All right. Well, this was a fun show today. I think that we definitely lived up to the term of overreacting. And once again, I fell short trying to give Tyler and you guys to give Bonex credit. So we'll be back for more of that next week, guys. This is fanspeak.com. Our treasure map that gets all our NFL plays is on fanspeak.com, and we do offer you those for free. So make sure you head on over to fanspeak.com. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do. Give us a thumbs up. Tyler, we'll go to you, and then we'll get the final words from JC.
Yeah. Lock in that TJ Watt to get a sack and the Steelers win tonight. He's going to get that sack early. I don't hate if you want to make it a 3-legger because our center's out on the Pittsburgh side. Take Dexter Lawrence, who's leading the league in sacks, and TJ Watt, get a little plus money on that with the Steelers money line with it. So, little 3-legger. I think we win the game. I think we're leading into a good week of football for week 9. Let's see how the trade deadline pans out also, and let's have some fun.
JC, words of wisdom.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going to go to our man, Morgan Freeman. I never lose. I either win or learn.